Welcome to the NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm Nick Roloff, and on today's show, 5 blockbuster trades that I think could happen at the NBA trade deadline. It's such a bummer that Blockbuster no longer exists, but at least we can still use their photo and have them in our hearts and memory as we approach the trade deadline. And speaking of the trade deadline, we're going to be live. Yeah, you heard me. We will be live for 3 to 4 hours on Thursday, February 8th for the NBA trade deadline. Hit that sub button. I'll be on there. Harrison Graham will be with me. Join us for that big day, February 8th on Chat Sports. Blockbuster trade number 1. Ooh, it's a doozy, too. The Lakers get Dejounte Murray, Saddiq Bey, Patty Mills as well. What do they give up? Well, they give up D'Lo, Austin Reaves, a 2029 first-round pick, and then 2 second-round picks. You never know what the Hawks want in return for Dejounte Murray. It's rumored that they want 2 first-round picks, but who knows what they're actually getting in these trade offers. All I know is that Dejounte Murray is a really good basketball player. He's a two-way guard who has a 6'10 wingspan at 6'5 in height. He's been phenomenal this season, having a career year in points per game, but also in the three-point shooting. He's never shot more than 38% from beyond the arc. He's doing that at an efficient clip this season. He also brings that two-way ability that the Lakers covet next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now, why would the Hawks do this? Well, these are the 2 players they'd be getting in return, and they've both had interesting seasons. D'Lo's had a fantastic month of January where he's averaging 22 points a game, shooting 46 or 48% from the field and 46% from 3. His numbers this year for the season are fantastic as well. But the main piece they would be getting back is Austin Reaves. A lot of people view him as a very good young player, and if the Hawks took this trade, you have Austin Reaves starting as the 2 guard next to Trae Young in the backcourt, and you have D'Lo coming off the bench as the scoring 6th man. You would assume the Hawks make a lot of other moves along this trade, but this could be a good recoup of assets, especially getting 2 second-round picks and that coveted 29 first-round pick from LA that a lot of people think is going to be in the top 10. So if you had to predict it, or really just say who wins this trade between the Lakers and Hawks, let me know down in the comment section. If you think the Lakers win it, beginning Murray, Saddiq Bey, and Patty Mills, type LAL. Is it the Hawks in Atlanta? Type ATL. Moving on to the next trade that I think could be a blockbuster is the New York Knickerbockers. And they are getting Malcolm Brogdon to the Big Apple. All they got to send that massive expiring deal of Evan Fournier and a 2024 first-round pick where they have a shit ton of them. And this is a perfect move to me for the New York Knicks. I know a lot of fans might want Dejounte Murray in the Big Apple. I think they should be targeting Malcolm Brogdon. I think he's the perfect fit. And if I had to make one specific match for a player and team going into February 8th, it would be Brogdon to New York. Because when they made that deal for OG Anunoby, the biggest thing they lost, in my opinion, was their bench depth at that guard position with Emmanuel quickly departing New York. They'd be getting a bench player who just won 6th Man of the Year in 2023, has playoff experience. But the thing that I love about Brogdon is his ability to potentially play alongside Jalen Brunson. Brunson has been playing at an MVP caliber level this season. When he comes off the bench, it doesn't go well for New York. They don't bring him off the bench often because he's been so good and Tibbs runs his guys into the ground. And especially during the postseason, you know you're going to get Brunson playing 40 minutes a night. But in those 8 minutes, Brogdon can be the point guard, but he can also play alongside Jalen Brunson because he's got size. He's got the ability to defend at that two-way level and play off ball in the catch-and-shoot three-point role. I love this addition for New York. I love this fit for Malcolm Brogdon. It's not really that big of a blockbuster, if you will, but I think Brogdon, New York needs to happen. What needs to happen as well? Well, you go to Prize Picks. Get a $100 first deposit match when you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. Just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. Rapper Meek Mill, comedian Andrew Schultz play Prize Picks every single day. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but outside of the NBA, there's actually a big game coming up this Sunday. The last football game for a nice little 5 to 6 months. I'm using Prize Picks to make it more intriguing. You can guarantee that. I'm taking the more than on Patrick Mahomes passing yards. I'm taking the more than on Isaiah Pacheco touchdowns. I'll take the less than on Deebo Samuel receiving yards, and I'll also take the more than on Christian McCaffrey receiving yards, as I think he's in for a big day for the gold and red, I guess. Yeah, we'll go with the gold and red. You can take my picks. You can fade my picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CONS to get a first deposit match up to $100. I'm a nice guy, so I'm putting that link in the chat and the description of today's video. Let's head down to Dallas, where we're currently residing, where they need a center badly. And in this blockbuster trade, they get Clint Capella. What do they give up? Richaun, Holmes, and Maxi Kleber to match salary. They have to offer their only first-round pick they can trade in 2027, and they offer that second-round pick they have from the Miami Heat in 2028. And Derek Lively has just been a force to be reckoned with this year. He's been so good out of Duke. The rookie has just been nothing short of fantastic. He was a top guy for me on my big board, and he's been very, very good so far. But they need some help, either backing up Lively or moving Lively to the bench in the form of Clint Capella. Capella is having a very fine season in Atlanta. He's actually improved that free throw shooting as well, which you wouldn't think of him being a 65% free throw shooter, but he's done an excellent job of improving that area of his game. He's been in the playoffs before playing with a dominant ball handler in the form of James Harden. Well, now he could do it with Kyrie and Luka and help out Derek Lively. Can't play the two at the same time because they do the same exact thing, but you won't lose your step when you go to the bench and bring Derek Lively to the bench to take a seat because, well, Richaun Holmes, Maxi Kleber in the front court of Dallas has really held them back at least this season. Dwight Powell also not doing so well for the Mavericks. Blockbuster number 5 and the final one of today's show. Ooh, whoa, who cooked up this one? Kyle Kuzma to the Miami Heat for Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, Nikola Jovic, a 2028 first-round pick swap, and a 2026 second-round pick. Zach Buckley actually cooked this one up, if you want to know. I took it from him, and I thought it was a blockbuster. Kyle Kuzma would be a really intriguing addition to that Heat rotation, who finally just snapped their 7-game losing streak on Wednesday against the Sacramento Kings. 22 points a night, 45% from the field, 33% from three. But the thing that makes Kyle Kuzma such a good addition, an acquisition for Pat Riley's Miami Heat, well, he gives them size and scoring. He's 6'9". He's got a 7-foot wingspan. And alongside Bam Adebayo, the Heat really struggle with defending bigger-sized teams. And when Bam heads to the bench, they really struggle to get boards, and sometimes they struggle with Adebayo on the court. Now, I'm not saying Kuzma is going to fix all of that, but what he will do is slide into that starting power forward position next to Rozier, Hero, Jimmy, and Bam. Provide a guy who can space the floor, but also really do some nice things in that Eric Spoelstra scheme defense that focuses so much on switching and being able to guard all 5 positions at a time, no matter who you are. Kuzma is able to do that, maybe not at the most effective level, but his size, wingspan, and athleticism allow him to give them a chance to continue that offense. But he's also averaging 22 a night, and if that trade happened, I'm not going to say all 5 guys would average 20 a night, because that certainly would not be the case, but they would technically have 5 guys averaging 20 points or more in that starting lineup. That'll do it for today's video. If you haven't already, follow your boy on Twitter, @Nick_Roloff. I'm talking hoops in the NBA on a daily basis. And if you want to be up to date on the latest NBA trade rumors, well, that's where you're going to find it first before we come over here and make a video for y'all. So follow me on Twitter, @Nick_Roloff.